We're breaking down anything and everything Utica City FC related. This is the Keeper's Corner podcast with your hosts, Matt Sterling and Brandon Brooks. Let's get into it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Keeper's Corner podcast. As always, Matt and Brandon here. We know it's been a minute. We apologize. Life has been crazy.
Initially it was not much to talk about.
Yeah. Then
things started happening that we could talk about, but life happened.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Unfortunately.
Things, it's just how things pan out. But we at least wanted to get you an episode in November.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we were like, there's nothing really to talk about. We'll wait a week. And then a day or two after we decided that, they were like, bam, all-star game. Bam, signing. Bam, signing. Boom, boom, boom. It's like, thanks, guys.
Things just started rolling, and we weren't ready.
No, the wheels fell off at work kind of a little bit. Like, I don't know how your work's been, but I've done, apologies for that. We got brownies cooking, folks, since today is National Cake Day. And I did put out that we would accept all cake deliveries, and nobody DoorDashed or Grubhubbed or Uber Eated me a cake at home. So we had to go for the next best thing, brownies.
Speak for yourself. Where's mine?
And I would have shared had anybody delivered it, but our fan base just didn't come through. Since we're talking food, Brandon, you didn't really chime in on the chat part where in the group chat where we were arguing mayo, yes or no.
Are we talking? We're talking straight mayo, not like
straight mayo,
not like
Michelle and Katie were very firmly on the side of mayo's good, use it. Ray and I were very firmly on the side of it is disgusting. I will use anything else to wet my sandwich.
See, I will take. I do enjoy mayo on specific types of sandwiches, like turkey. I like my mayo. But if it's like a salami, I'd rather have something like a mustard or something like that. And I'll even have, to be honest, I'll even have mayo on a burger.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, not me. We all are aware of my inappropriate nickname for it. I won't repeat it on the show.
Probably not a good idea.
But I said my go-to is hot sauce. This is one of my favorites.
I do enjoy a decent hot sauce.
It's a garlic chipotle pepper. So it's smoky and garlicky. It's got chipotle, habanero, and cayenne. And Michelle, this is just for you because you seemed really opposed at just hot sauce going on stuff. Oh, it's good.
You come kiss me.
No, thank you. No, thank you. I will not be chugging any hot sauce here. Don't even ever think that that's going to happen. For the
head cold I've had, this is going to clean my sinuses out really fast.
Honestly, I'll give you that much. Hot sauces. Yes, I can safely say I have used that before in an effort to clean out the old nostrils.
I had a guy at work complaining of a head cold, and I told him to take a tablespoon of sriracha and just down that.
Yeah.
He didn't realize how hot sriracha was, which to me it's not hot at all, so it was hilarious, but...
Well, that's because your taste buds are dead.
No. It's because I live for the pain of burning fire.
Listen, I'll never forget those wings.
Dude, you should have tried the hot sauce that I made. I messed up my ratio on habanero to sweet peppers. The stuff looked like the wing sauce that you get at the store, like a Sweet Baby Ray's wing sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I brought it up to my family's camp, sitting around the fire, and my brother, who, if you've gone to the games once in a while, you see this other guy in our section getting loud, standing on the railing.
Mm-hmm.
He took a little bit of it, decided I need a drink, went inside. Screen door closed. We're 40 feet away, and we just hear, a little chatter. My mom mumbles something. He just goes, "It hurts."
I actually do remember the story that Michelle's telling in the chat, talking about, her father and mother having wasabi for the first time, and they had a bit too much, and it didn't go well.
Yeah, for someone that likes hot, I don't like horseradish, so I don't like wasabi.
I was kind of disappointed though when I was talking about, spice and wings and stuff. I gave you a perfect opportunity because we signed a wing.
Yeah, we did. We did. But I wasn't ready to pivot quite there.
I know. It was a little bit too early for a segue, but I tried to offer it in case you wanted it.
It was there, yeah. It was.
Nope.
I just have them too far down on my show notes because I went in chronological order.
Yeah, all right. That's fair. That's fair. I know it just was a timely one,
Yeah.
But we do have a lot of signings to talk about.
We do. We do have quite a few signings. And I guess Satan's Revenge wings. Those were delicious.
They were actually really good. I'm not even gonna argue that. They were spicy as all get out, but for me, somebody who doesn't have that much hot sauce, but I still enjoyed them. So that's all that matters.
Look, nothing compares to the garlic screamers I had up at Screamin' Eagle. Ugh. We got a dozen for the table. The waitress was like, "Are you sure?" Yeah. The cook comes out. That probably should have been our warning. My dad sniffed them, didn't touch them. My brother took one bite. I ate 2 wings. I spent 20 minutes crying and dry heaving in the bathroom. Just snot. It was the worst. Like, stomach's angry at me. My face is angry at me. I'm splashing water.
That sounds. Last thing I'm going to say about spicy stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds like me when I was a kid. We went to one of those like Chinese buffet places, and I got General Tso's chicken, and my dad, being the bully that he was, said, "Oh, hey, there's this little like black reddish pepper that comes in the real thin little pepper that comes in the in with the General Tso's. You should try it. It's really good." Mm-hmm. Yeah. I spent the rest of the time in the bathroom. That is a traumatizing core memory that I will always have with me for the rest of my life.
Gotta love parents just being like, no, do the hot thing.
It's funny.
All right.
Peanut Gallery, you will not tell us what to do.
So back to the soccer stuff, I suppose.
But yes,
that's what we're here for.
Soccer stuff.
And that's what everyone in the chat's here for.
As they slowly just leave because we're just talking hot sauce.
Utica's first signing, we'll get him out of the way. Simply because he's been placed on the inactive roster. Don't know why. Gotta assume it's, unfortunately, visa issues. That's what it tends to be with most of these guys.
Yeah.
Curvin Tico Kenton. He's a defender. Has a fairly long outdoor career. Not the lower level, like the upper lower level, mid-tier soccer.
So, somewhere up here, up down, yeah.
Oberhausen 2, or Chanticleers, Detroit City, Reading United, Chicago FC, PAO Chicago, 7 caps on the Costa Rica under-20 national team. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was excited to see what this guy could bring in, simply because on his Instagram stories, I've seen he's been playing some indoor stuff.
Yep.
So, getting adjusted to it. There were walls. That's always promising.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
I guess now we're just in a wait and see mode with him.
Yeah. I just hope it doesn't turn into another, man, what's the one that I'm trying to think of? When we literally got to watch play against Mississauga in the preseason game, and that
Diego
was
Zuniga.
Zuniga, yes, yep.
Yeah.
That I just hope it doesn't turn into another one of those, because that would that wouldn't feel good.
No.
Signing someone just so that we never get to use them, especially when it's one of those things that. It's one of those things that it's like we need defenders, and he is one of those. So having him versus not having him would definitely obviously benefit us a lot more. Not just holding him away from other teams, because it's not like he's a hot commodity that you hear about all the time in the MASL. You know, as with a few of these, it just feels like we kind of went outside the box in the box, or inside the MASL. We went outside the box, and I liked that. I actually, I praised them as we were kind of watching these come in. I was actually praising like Tommy and Everton. Like, I like seeing this. I don't like seeing just the same players moving around the board of the MASL like chess pieces from team to team. Like, this is a nice change of pace. So I don't know. We'll see how it pans out, but I like the idea behind it.
Well, the good news is the next two signings that were announced are also defenders, so we get a little help there. Both guys are returning. Nelson Santana and Logan Roberts.
No.
Nelly.
What are you booing over there, Peanut Gallery?
I don't think they're done yet.
I thought she was booing Nelly, and I'm like, we don't do that anymore.
She's booing that the Brownies still aren't done.
We don't boo Nelly. Nelly's a good guy. We like Nelly.
We do like Nelly. He'll be 47 by the time the year's out. So, impressive to see someone that age keep playing such a physical game.
I mean, he's not. We can't say that he's the most physically active on the field, but he has his moments. I mean, he's had his shining good moments. He's also had some shining bad moments. Keep it away from the front of the net, please. Thank you.
21 games last year, 3 goals, 5 assists. We know the block stats are less than reliable.
Yeah, of course.
But we're just going to throw them out there because the league keeps an eye on them, so we might as well
Exactly.
27 block shots. He did pick up 4 blue cards and 3 yellow cards, plus the suspension for the head slap punch thing.
He was a bad boy
against KC. we know what we're going to get out of him.
We do.
He's physical. You're going to put him on probably the second, someone to man mark, if not the best attacker, just because of it'll be matchup based, most likely. If they're a quicker, technical, faster attacker, you're probably going to put one of the other guys on them. But if they're a physical guy, like when you're matching up against St. Louis and Frank Tayu, that's a matchup we can expect to see. Or putting him on Rian Marquez again with Kansas City.
Just no punchy.
Yeah.
You will get caught again. Probably. Maybe. What are you laughing at?
Sorry. Your background's blurred out, but I can see Michelle in the back scratching her back against the door frame like
a bear. Like a freaking bear.
In the woods, kind of.
That's what I call her when she does it. It's like, all right, bear, scratch your back.
We said bear, and Katie got excited.
We forgot to talk about the new merch, too.
Well, we have a lot of ways to go. We have a lot of ways to go.
Plushies are important.
Zip.
Here, go play with one of yours. Yep, hip up on the back of the couch. Back on track because background characters are taking over in this one.
Not background characters.
Logan Roberts.
Peanut Gallery seems offended.
Logan Roberts back.
Sturgeon face is getting offended.
Coming back after his best season in the league.
One that he actually made it to the end of the season. And
23 games, 11 goals, 18 assists, 18 blocks, only 1 blue card. I mean, look, I don't know. What do you want to say about him?
I mean, as long as Logan stays healthy, I say this every year, as long as he stays healthy, he produces. He does well. And the more he he does, and the more games and more seasons he's able to actually play start to finish without major injury, then that will build his confidence. Because, you know, in past seasons, well, this past season specifically, since it was the first one that he made it all the way through, you know, who knows? Maybe he was playing a little bit more cautious than he normally would just to make sure that he made it through the season. This season, maybe he gets a little bit more comfortable. He knows what he can do and what he can't do in order to stay healthy. And as that, you know, as he kind of refines that knowledge a little bit more, then we'll see more out of him with less injury.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. There's always that asterisk.
Given Utica's roster construction, he's going to be a vital part of the team, and his speed out of the back is an asset in Everton's style, you know, his play style and tactics. You know, could be a big year for Logan again.
Yes, he definitely could.
I might have typoed on that too.
Huh?
Why do I feel like I typoed on his number of assists? It might have been 18 total points, but I can't.
He's got inflated stats. He's looking really good right now.
Look, yeah, Superman's got to be Superman.
Yeah, we didn't get to. Well, actually, I guess we did get to see.
Yeah, 18 points. Okay, 7
We got
assists.
to see Superman a little bit, but not terribly often last season. Got to see him.
Why don't you take this?
Got to see him play, but not.
Do you got the notes
Yeah,
open?
I'm. You know.
Okay, I was gonna say, why don't you take these next couple?
Oh, you want me to mispronounce the other one? Gotcha. No, I think I've got it,
Yeah,
and you're probably going to correct me, but I think I got it. All right, so another re-signing for Utica City is the one, the only, captain, my captain, Nate Bordeaux. I know as we all know, he's recovering from surgery. So it was, correct me if I'm wrong, that was hip surgery, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So he's still probably going to be on the mend in the beginning of the season, if I had to guess. But, you know, it will be nice to see him at least back on the bench for a little bit, and then hopefully back on the field sooner rather than later. You know, in the last season, he had 18 games with 7 goals, 13 assists, 7 blocks, and no cards. But then again, as I mentioned, he wasn't really on the field all that much either for a good part of the second half of the season, with good reason.
Well, no, he missed all of last year.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This is the season before.
This is 2 years ago, yeah.
Sorry. So those stats were from not this past season, but the season before.
Yeah. Which, you know, if he gets back to that form, that's a huge addition given the loss of Hundelt.
Yeah, we need that strength in the midfield for sure. And Nate can absolutely bring it. So
yeah, it's a leadership role that we expect he'll step right back into.
I don't know if he ever really stepped out of it, to be honest with you. He just wasn't on the field.
But yeah, like he wasn't on the bench. He was, you know, he might have been around at practices before he was in bed for a while because of the surgery.
Right, but he was on the bench for a little bit. He was on the bench for a while, and so he was in that leadership role to an extent for a good chunk of the season. And then, but yes, you are right. You know, obviously, he did disappear from the bench and wasn't on the field. He was gone. And so yes, he will have to step into back into that role to an extent. The next one is a new signing. This one is, I forgot you didn't put positions on here, so I don't remember what position he got signed to. But this one is, I'm gonna mispronounce this, but I'm gonna say Mirshad Ahmadi.
Mirshad, something like that. We'll get it corrected when we get a chance to talk to him.
That's really what it boils down to, is we need to actually, you know, chat with him to find out the pronunciations. But he is a pretty good rock star down in M2 that is coming up. He has had 31 games over 3 seasons down in M2. I believe, I know one of those was for the Wichita Wings.
Yeah, the other 2 were with the New Mexico Runners.
I figured I was right on. I knew he was the one on the Wings. That much I remembered. He had a 3.4 points per game average over the span of those 31 games. So I mean, if you're thinking roughly three goals a game over into 31 games, I mean, you're talking 93 some odd goals in 3 seasons. That's a nice stat. And in his very last season, he had 10 goals with 1 assist in 3 playoff games for the season. That was just for the playoff games. So that's pretty good for 3 games. Like, I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, they got to check out some tape, but at 5'8", 150, it sounds like he's going to be one of the craftier, quick strike kind of offensive players. He was a midfield / forward down at M2. But, you know, if obviously there's a step up in quality of player from M2 to M1.
If you hadn't said it, I was going to.
So, you know, we're not going to expect like a 60-goal season or anything ridiculous like that. But if he can net 15 goals, I'd call that a smashing success.
Yeah. For, you know, his first season coming up from M2. Yeah, I mean, that would be a great start into the MASL.
Like, as things stand, it seems like Steven Fernandez is gone. Like, his social media is gone. I can't even find him on Instagram anymore.
Ghosted us.
So, if Chino's just gone from the league, that's 22 points right there that Utica's missing. If he could get close to that, that's a successful signing.
Agreed. Very much. Nope. It will definitely. It'll be interesting to see what he does. Obviously that's something where it's like a kind of a wait and see type thing. We can only kind of guess at how he's going to produce in the higher tier league. But he has had a promising start down in M2, and so we're excited to see what he does. Would you like to take the last one?
Oh, I suppose. And the most recent announcement, the last one we're going to talk about here, since that's the last signing announced,
for now,
is I'm probably going to slaughter the last name, but again, once we get a chance to talk to him, we'll get it corrected. Barbaro Chelier.
I was going to go with
Chelier.
With Chelier, but yeah. I don't know.
So he's one of 2 Cuban futsal players to defect during their friendly matches against Costa Rica last November. He and another player just kind of bounced from the team while they were in Costa Rica. He's a 6'3" target forward. Little lanky from the picture we saw, but
that doesn't mean much.
Yeah, tall.
Yeah.
He's playing for a national futsal team. So same kind of style of play that Everton's very familiar with and has tried to build this roster around. And last night, on my way out of work, Shay and Everton happened to be at the bar at Babes, so I popped out, said hello, welcomed him back. Basically, what they said about this guy is it looks like he should be able to step right into gameplay. Won't need any seasoning at M2.
Fantastic.
He has the talent. Internal belief is that this is the most talented roster we've seen in Utica ever. Only time will tell how that plays out.
I was going to say, that's a bold statement for the beginning of the season before we've even seen these guys play at all. But
internal,
exactly.
No, the way they talk about this guy, he could be one of those players that steps in and shocks the league. we talked about Marco Fabian last year with Empire, how he came in, and he was a former national player, but that transition to indoor can sometimes take time.
Right.
Or Gabriel Costa the year prior. These guys that come in and as rookies just show that they can play and play at a high level. And if that's the kind of signing that they got, then this could be a massive, massive win. You'd have a three-headed monster at target forward between Chelier, Dantas, and Kelvin.
Yep. Yeah, you would definitely have a vicious front line. And I know that's kind of been the play style for Utica since Everton took over, is offensive heavy. And so, I mean, if it works, I should say, how do I want to put this? Last season, we kind of did a similar thing where we had a lot of people up front and they were all dangerous. Obviously, certain ones got more attention. Frank, namely, definitely got a lot more attention up front from the other team, which, of course, led us to going to other people and allowing them to score, or at least take shots. But having a diverse front line with Dantas, with Calvin, with Barbaro. I'm just going to use the first name. That could definitely shake things up and cause a lot of problems because you can't really cover all. You can cover all three, but if you double team them, well, guess what? Then, you've basically exhausted your players on the field with three players or two players, because I doubt they'll all be on the same shift. But yeah, it could definitely prove to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's 20 guys on the active roster at the moment, 3 inactive in Kirvin Kenton, Christian Segura, and Darren Toby. We'll see who gets added. Obviously, Utica still needs to add a backup goalkeeper.
I was going to bring that up.
But there are 5-ish slots or so that could get filled over the next couple weeks before the season.
Wouldn't mind seeing one more defender. Right now we have 4. Technically 5. But we have 4 on the active roster in Nelly, Juan, Logan, and Berger. So we have 4 on the active roster. I wouldn't mind seeing one more, or just one more active, regardless of whether it comes from inactive or comes from another signing.
Yeah, I'm gonna push it a little further at just like 6, because that gives you 3 lines.
I figured you might say that. And
look, you're telling me you got 26 guys on the roster and less than a quarter of them are defenders. I think we can agree that that's. Go ahead, give it to us.
It's a little slim. It's a little.
Like at the moment, you have 4 out of 20 guys on the active roster are defenders. Right. So that defense is slim, and an injury or a suspension or life events, which happens, can really push the depth.
Yeah, we don't need to be pushing the depth on like the first couple of games.
Maybe we see some guys like Hundelt last year and Alava last year step back into that defender full-time role.
Yeah.
I could see them doing that with Nate. Let him run the offense out of the defense.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Kind of like we saw with NDI last year, where he's more quarterbacking it than.
Yep. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. Having that. I mean, if we're talking Nate, I mean, he is kind of a coordinator of everyone on the field whenever he's on the field. But seeing him take a more active role on the defensive side of things, I could see him kind of being a flex role. He's got the experience to back that up. It obviously just kind of comes down to his body working.
But that's all the signings for now. The draft happened right after our last episode. Not a whole lot of information out there about the guys that Utica signed. Like they announced them, but there's not even an article giving bios on them or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just go round by round. First round, Mohamed Hamada. He's a defender, played in like the Milwaukee area from what I can tell. I have no idea anything about beyond that. Ramazani Jumba, forward, taken in the second round. Another local kid. Played for Clinton, played for Utica University. Has played for Krajišnik.
Yep.
He was drafted last year by KC, but didn't catch on, didn't see any game action. So he re-entered the Pro Combine draft again this year, and he's coming home to Utica.
Okay.
And then in the third round, Utica took, I'm assuming it's pronounced Neil Croak. Niall.
Or Croquet.
Niall.
Something like that.
New York native, has been living in Pennsylvania. His college stats are from like 2014, but he was a midfielder, put up 13 points in 14 games. Looks like he's been signed or drafted as a forward, so we'll be making that move up top.
Only time will tell on these guys. I mean, you know, there's obviously with any draft picks that you're going to have. I mean, you're going to have very limited data on those draft picks just because they're new. You know, they're new to the league, and when they're new to the league, they're definitely new to us. So you know, only time will tell on what we see from them and what they can do on any given field. Whether we, you know, use them M2, you know, if we do end up needing them on M1, you know, I could see Hamada potentially being brought up to M1 pretty quickly, depending on if, you know, how he maybe performs in Krasnik, because I'm sure we'll probably see these guys play in Krasnik for a little bit anyway, and then see how they do and pull them up as needed.
Yeah. It's that's the nice thing about having the M2 team right in town, practicing in the same facility.
Yes, I have loved the fact that we finally had an M2 team that, you know, not only could we kind of move our guys around if they're not playing up here this week, then they can play down there this week, keep fresh.
They're coming back from an injury, got a rehab stint down there. It worked out great last year.
I absolutely loved it. And yeah, Steve, we were just mentioning that, you know, obviously we need to sign a second keeper. I know that, you know, me personally, I've not had any rumblings, any rumors of who that is going to be, if that's going to be Brian or if we're going to have a whole new one. So we have to have one. We have to have one more. Yeah. I mean, there's no denying that we have to have at minimum one more. Yeah.
You have to have two on any game day roster. Right.
So we'll have to have one very soon.
Brandon, why don't you open up this next one?
I don't wanna.
It's our final piece of player information from the past month.
I don't wanna talk about this one because it's sad. But fine. So, full disclosure.
Just gonna eat my sadness brownie.
I want sadness brownie. Full disclosure on this one. I may or may not have known since summer, I would say maybe July-ish, that we were not getting Timmy back. I had spoken with a couple people and, you know, basically found out that he wasn't coming back, even if it wasn't for this.
Yours.
You know, it was. He was. It wasn't that before. It wasn't so much that he was leaving, just taking a different role, and then come to find out, after the fact, that something else had been presented into his lap, and Timmy Goldman was going to be accepting a role in the FIFA organization, which is fantastic for him. I mean, that is a huge undertaking for him, and I mean, we couldn't be happier that he is, you know, taking on this role in, FIFA, working to help plan and execute the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Like, that is awesome. And, super happy to hear about it. He did have to relocate to Miami, so he is not even in the area anymore, which also sucked. But, we wish him the best, and hopefully, I know he said he wanted to try and make it up for at least a game. So hopefully this season we will see Sensei Goldman back in the building as a fan.
Mm-hmm. Look, I'll say this. If the league can make it happen, you bring him in as your MC for the All-Star game.
That would be great.
There's always going to be a seat for him in Section 212. He was the first player to come on our show, have a chat with us.
I mean,
he's connected with the fan base in a way that very few players in the history of any sport have. And he will be missed in Utica.
Yeah, I mean, he had our section basically since his very first game. Not even his first game actually on the roster, but his first game trying out for the roster, he made an impression. When they walked around the concourse and, had the band going and whatnot, and they did the little march. I mean, we were the first ones to really, make a big impression on him, with that freaking headband of his coming around and the whole front row just, Sensei. Like, we made an impression on him, he made an impression on us, and it was the rest is history. So, yeah. And he's a fantastic person, and like I said, wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah, no, if FIFA plays their cards right, he could make a name for himself.
Oh, yeah.
Very easily during this tournament. And then the sky's the limit for him. But, there's always a section in 212. There's always a stool at 72. Mm-hmm. There's always a spot on this show if he wants to join in and talk Utica.
Yeah.
Timmy, thanks for the memories.
Song in my head.
That was the hope, was that triggered something in a whole bunch of millennial brains.
Oh, you are an evil person. Why would you do this to me?
So we could pivot on a joking point instead of such a heartfelt moment and talk about the promo schedule.
Yeah. Fun games.
12 games. They're all technically some kind of promotion or another. Some of them we're going to skim right through. Some of them we'll talk about a little more. Home opener. It's the home opener. What else do you want to
I mean, simple as that. It's the home opener. It's the first game at home. Ha!
December 27th. It's going to be the home opener. Everyone come on out. Bring out your fresh Utica gear or your fresh Keeper's Corner podcast gear that you get on Christmas. Rock it at the odd. We'll be loud. We'll be proud. We'll get to yell, "Hey, Francis," a lot.
Who would be delivering the holiday Utica City and Keeper's gear? Would it be Santana
Claus? I had that joke today when I was typing out his name for the notes, and I stopped a nah short.
I listen. I know it's a bad joke. All right, I know it was terrible, but you know what? It was funny up here.
Well, no. Batman.
I'm leaving.
New Year's Eve game. Originally scheduled for 6 p.m. start. They moved it up to 3 p.m.
Kind of not surprised there. I mean...
Yeah, and you might get everyone out to their parties, off the streets, kids home.
I mean, the players probably got places they want to go, too. I mean, the players probably want to go places. The staff potentially want to be able to go places and celebrate somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Ball drop. They're going to do a giant toast to the new year. And it's the 50 cents off Miller Lite game every time Utica scores, down to the state minimum, which I believe is still $3.50.
So, for the giant toast, are you thinking that they're going to have white wheat or rye?
See, that's immediately where my brain went the first time I read it, and then I was like, oh, they mean like a cheers to the New Year's.
I'm in rare form today. I can't help it. The dad jokes are flowing, and I hope you settle in.
All right. Go ahead, take these next couple.
Okay, I guess. I should have actually worn the jersey for this one. So this is one of my personal favorites. I'm very excited to announce, well, not that y'all didn't already know, if you've been paying attention to the social media, but the Utica Riggies are coming back, not just for one game, but for a whole weekend, because we play Milwaukee, I believe, twice that weekend. So we're just going to have the Riggies are going to be back in town, and I couldn't be more excited because I loved some of the, slapstick ideas that they had for the Utica Riggies game. But yes, that will be back to back with the Milwaukee Wave at home. They will also be having the specialty jerseys as they did last year. And of course, there will be a dodgeball tournament that weekend as well. So yes, personal favorite of mine. Very excited to see the Utica Riggies come back in town for 2 whole nights, or day and night, I guess. Either way, a weekend. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a back-to-back Saturday, Sunday games.
So that'll be nice. The next one, why do you have this up here in the notes? You're going to need to explain that one to me. The next one we are having is an Eras Night, which to me, I don't feel if it's like eras of the team, I feel like we haven't been around that long to have eras, but maybe you have a different thought on it.
Yeah, no, it says right on the webpage for the promotional schedule that it's a Taylor Swift night because of her whole Eras tour.
Okay, I missed that part.
Which is wildly underwhelming to me. I'm sure there are a bunch of teenage girls that'll be excited about it. I'll be bringing my earbuds to block out the music. I like music with guitars. I know it's gone out of style, but
you need to have you just need to be extra loud that night. We just got to figure out some different chants that will carry over the music somehow. So we just got to blow out our voice boxes that night.
Yeah. It's not even like it's cool to hate on Taylor Swift kind of thing. I've just never enjoyed her music, even when she first started. Is that generic, just kind of generic. It's Nickelback for women.
Don't you knock Nickelback.
Look, if Nickelback leaned into their heavier stuff, they'd be fine. But they don't.
So you're saying that we're never going to get back together with Taylor Swift night?
Apparently Everton wanted it, according to Huber in the chat. That is just even more depressing. Coach, we got to sit down and have a conversation about music. Like,
you're fine, Coach. I got you. I got your back.
If we were going to do an Eras night, I would have waited until the 10-year anniversary for the team. And then you could have covered the 10 years of history in Utica, plus the history from Syracuse. You could have done throwback Syracuse Knights jerseys.
Just shake it off.
Why are we here? To suffer. Yeah, that. So yeah, that is Eras Night, I guess, is Taylor Swift night, basically.
Yeah.
So underwhelming.
I don't know how you do that besides play a bunch of Taylor Swift music. And they said dress in your favorite era, which I guess she had eras. To my knowledge, it's all been about like one breakup after another. So dress as if you're brokenhearted and making another $1 billion off of it.
But wouldn't now? You know what? I was going to say, I mean, normally in a breakup, at least guys, we listen to emo music and, just wear, our black clothes and just be sad. So that's what I've seen a lot of the guys I used to know in like high school. Mm-hmm. That's how we dealt with breakups. Just go home and cry. Anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever. They're trying. They're trying something.
They're trying something.
Give them that much. They're trying something.
We'll see if it sticks.
Yeah.
There's just, yeah. Like I said, maybe it'll get a bunch of teenage girls in the stands.
Or yes, we can make the other team's ears bleed. We could try that too.
I already tried to do that.
You do.
Yes, Peanut Gallery.
Just get cuter guys on the team. Younger ones.
Why?
Teenage girls are horny.
Caitlin, family show. We're not going to get a bunch of Justin Biebers on the team. Or One Directions or whatever the modern boy band is.
May I point out what happened at the Syracuse game?
Yeah, that was awful.
Exactly.
It was a Syracuse basketball game, and the teenagers behind us at the time were talking about how freshman Jimmy Boeheim was just, oh my God, so cute and dreamy, and I can't wait to marry him someday.
And they ruined
or it's like when I went to a Yankee game and had to listen to this woman next to me talk about how Judgy Wudgy has such a cute tushy wushy. And I wish I was exaggerating the accent, but I'm not.
The girls at the soccer game, or Syracuse.
I know they put their foot in your nachos and you're still upset about it to this day.
Yes. My nachos were innocent in this matter.
All right, your turn.
For those that aren't going to be watching this, I've been staring at the camera for the past 30 seconds. Anyway.
Peanut Gallery.
After Era's Night, we also have Bosnian Heritage Night. Again, it's more, this one doesn't feel necessarily like, some of the other gimmicky ones. This is more just taking note of the area, taking note of, of our, a good bit of the Utica fan base and just acknowledging that. And I don't have any problem with with those kind of events.
A large Bosnian population in the area due to the asylum status for many of the families. It's nice to acknowledge that.
100%.
It wouldn't surprise me if, one of these years they did like an Italian-American heritage game. Come on, Frankfurt has the second largest concentration of Italian-Americans outside of New York City in the country.
Okay.
So, it's 5 minutes down the road.
But it's not Utica.
You got Delmonico's with all their non-food issue related stuff on the walls that's all about Italian Americans.
No, I mean, this could just be this is the one for this year, and then maybe we'll see what happens in future years. Maybe we'll have some different variations on the Heritage Night type thing. But it's just one another way to acknowledge, like I said, a larger part of the city and the fan base. Mm-hmm. So all for that kind of thing. Next, we also have one that is pretty standard for the past couple years, which has been the season ticket member and mascot game. We've always had the mascot game, and honestly, they're always really enjoyable. I mean, I think that every single one of these has been pretty fun to watch. It's always great having the different mascots roaming around the stands during the game, before and after the game, things like that. And the season ticket member thing. I know we've always kind of said we'd like to see more from this. And I mean, this is still another chance for them to potentially deliver on really recognizing their season ticket members, or, even their long-term season ticket members, people that have been there since the beginning, like ourselves, just as an example. But, there's a lot of season ticket members that have stayed season ticket members from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. we'll see. But for now, my bar's low, and I'm expecting to keep it low. I don't have a lot of expectations,
That's
unfortunately.
usually how I go into most things. Is I keep the bar low and let people come up to the bar, or come up to the very low bar and then exceed it. I like to have that happen. So I keep my standards. Keep my standards on that stuff, and movies pretty low.
Let's see. After that, we wrap up the season with 3 final home games. We got our St. Patrick's Day game. It's on the 16th this year, not the 17th. But
Please be good. Please don't screw it up. Please don't screw it up. Please don't screw it up.
That will feature the annual Ava Wood penalty kick shootout competition.
You good with that?
Yeah, that'll be an emotional day for the team and
Yes,
Nate
of
especially. The next one is the one that I'm probably the most excited about. It's Hawaiian Shirt Night.
I like this one.
The whole theme is to, quote, beat the heat. And they are attempting to set a world record for the most Hawaiian shirts worn in one place. The current record was set this past February in Florida. There were 1,254 people. We average about 3,000 to 3,200 fans a game.
Just need half of that.
Yeah, that's all it takes. Hawaiian shirts are cheap. You can find them online for $20. You can find the Utica City ones online on the team store. I believe they said they're also doing a Hawaiian shirt giveaway for this, so maybe that's what it's just going to be, is getting rid of the old stock.
Make sure that it's got to go to, whenever they do the giveaway, it's got to go to people in the stands that don't have shirts so that we get more numbers. More.
Yes. Look, get them for your kids. Get them one of the lays, let go all out, full costume day.
Yeah, it's a game to not just go out and be cold and when you go to a soccer game, but go out and have fun. More fun than you would normally have at a soccer game. We honestly have a lot of fun at our soccer games. I feel like, it's always a fun time, but this is just an excuse to make it do more with it.
This is a theme that's like, hey, are you a white guy in your 30s or older? Have we got a theme for you?
Why, yes, I am.
Yes, I am. No, I don't have a playlist on my phone called White Dad Barbecue or...
I mean, I've got a 90s dad playlist, and I'm not even a dad. I'm a dog dad.
Not a dad.
That's about it.
Not even a dog dad. Used to be a dog uncle, but that was about it.
And we also should mention. I'm assuming this is still part of the same one. Is Teacher Appreciation Day.
No, that's the final or second to last.
It looks like
day.
it was a sub. Initially, it looked like it was a sub thing of this. I copied and pasted it out of the notes, and so it looked like it had a different. It looked like it had the same bullet point. So my fault. That is the last one, though.
Yeah, well, the final home game is your fan appreciation standard end of year, bippity boppity boom, usual stuff.
I like that, Huber. More SOGs, shirts on guests. I'll take that. I like that.
That leaves us like 2 things to talk about, really. The All-Star game. God, it's great to finally talk about that.
Oh my God, he was waiting forever.
I first heard Utica was in on trying to land the All-Star game back in like July. Well, I confirmed it in the chat the same day that I confirmed that Taiyu was gone, right after Labor Day. So we've been sitting on it, and then watching the fan base have just an absolute meltdown until we started getting announcements. And it's like, I know, but you guys don't know.
You guys just don't understand. We're sorry.
Let's address. It's a Wednesday night game, February the 12th. Kind of surprised it's not a week later when you have winter recess, but squeeze it in where you can,
Exactly.
I guess. There's not a lot of games the weekend before because of the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, you really don't want to overlap with that. We know how that goes.
No. There's gonna be a skills competition. Interested to see what that is. That'll be at 6:00. The game will start at 7:15. So it'll be over by 9:30. And then you can, hopefully have a chance. Hopefully we'll keep 72 open after that and have a chance for everyone to come over and meet the All-Stars and not just the Utica guys.
Yeah, I think I've been kind of, I don't want to say 50-50 on this game. Like, I definitely see the appeal of it, and I think it's really cool to have it. I don't know how much of a draw it may end up having, at least for butts and seats. And I only say that because it's kind of the equivalent of the Pro Bowl. Nobody cares about the Pro Bowl. But I personally am excited to see it. But I question how what's the word I'm looking for? Popular it will be.
Okay. Well, I'll say this. We know there are 28 players coming. 22 of them will be decided by player, coach, and media vote. I sure we won't be included in that media because we're not an official media outlet. No. Even though we cover the league more than most official media outlets in the markets of the teams they support.
Don't talk bad about them. That's how you get. Shh.
It's fine. I'm already there.
I know.
Even though I'm in the building and I get more information than the guys that have been around for.
And he still doesn't spill the beans.
Yeah. Oh, God, if you guys knew how bad the Texas situation could have been. Big thanks to Tacoma and San Diego stepping in to throw some funding their way with a minority purchase and bolstering your guys' own rosters via that.
Yep.
But 28 players. 22 will be decided by player, coach, and media vote. Fans will get to pick 4. I'm assuming it's going to be a goalkeeper, a defender, a midfield, and a forward.
That would make sense.
The commissioner will select the final 2. They haven't announced how rosters are going to be constructed, but to play off of Huber's point in the chat, I assume it's going to be like NBA does, where you have 2 captains, and then they draft their teams. You know, like picking teams on the school ground.
Yeah.
Which, great. I love that since there's no East-West this year. Perfect way to run it. And I'd say for brevity's sake, you just make your goalkeepers captains.
And the other question there is, I'm assuming, does the rule for 2 active goalkeepers go out the window for that game?
I'm going to say
I would say no too.
I bet most likely what you'll see is 2 goalkeepers on each team. 1 plays each half.
I could see that.
I like that idea, doing it a live draft, even if it's just over Zoom or Skype like we do.
Yeah. We don't necessarily have to get everyone in the same place. I mean,
yep.
The internet is a great thing.
Most of the comments around this were very positive. Yep. If you were like, oh my God, upstate New York in February? What if it snows? Look. What if it snows? Oh no. This isn't Florida. We don't shut down when there's a dusting of snow.
No, we don't shut down when there's like a foot of snow.
It takes a significant amount of snow to impact attendance at Utica games.
We're a hearty people.
And I've criticized Kate a couple times because she's turned around when she gets down there and is like, it was kind of sketchy on the roads. I'm like, yeah, if you just get past Deerfield Hill, it's fine. And then by the end of the game, the storm's supposed to be gone and everything will be cleaned up.
Listen, we've driven down to Harrisburg in worse.
I'm driving.
Yeah.
Literally a snowstorm, and we made it alive.
So I went to Paul Smith's for college. The year that I was there was the first time they closed for a snow day in like 5 years. And we had 2 of them. And both of them, I hopped in my beater of a first car and drove the 30 miles to Whiteface. Yep. The second of which, the weather was so bad at Whiteface, they didn't open the top half of the mountains. Like, you could only do a halfway summit lift. The gondolas weren't open. The summit lift wasn't open. The wind was so cold, my gloves were freezing to the chairlift on the way up. We'll drive in anything around here.
Right.
It's when people start showing up on snowmobiles in droves that you might need to actually get a little worried. If they're showing up more in snowmobiles than they are in cars.
But you got hotels less than a half mile from the arena. The Odd just hosted the Box Lacrosse World Championships, men's and women's, as well as the women's IIHF World Championship in the spring. It's well equipped to handle this kind of game. There's some upgrades going on at the building, which is why there are no home games until they are as late in the season. Like, there's no home games for 2 weeks for Utica University or the Comets or City.
Yeah, the Odd is basically, barren for a good bit while they get some upgrades in, which is well needed or, well deserved and needed upgrades. So
I'd say I think the 7th is the last game until after Christmas.
That sounds about right. Yeah. It's a good chunk of time.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it won't be a problem. If you're flying in and you're worried about the weather, again, you can walk that half mile or get in contact with one of us locals.
Yeah.
We'll get you there.
Exactly.
We'll get you there. The nice thing is you got Nexus, so you can have the teams practicing separate times, separately, so they're not overhearing. I'm interested in finding out who's going to be coaching the teams. But, this could be a chance for guys like Steph Mijatovic to return as not an opposing player.
Right.
I know Joey Tavernisi could make a push just in the fan voting from Utica.
Marco Fabian.
That
would be great.
Yeah. One guy, I don't think they've announced that he's actually playing this year yet, but Nick Pereira, who the one time Tacoma came to Utica, sat out because it was the end of the season. Team was, I think he was injured or something. Utica fans have never seen him play in person. I'd love to see that.
I would definitely agree with that. That'd be a fun time.
No, it'll be just a fun game where you guys. I have a feeling it's going to be more like the MLB All-Star game than NBA, or even if these guys take it light on defense. Oh no, we see a 15-15 game. Yeah, the fans are really going to complain about that. Yeah, we hate goals in the MASL.
Yeah, we're very vocal about our hatred for goals. We just want to see the ball, bounce around. We don't want to see goals. It disrupts play.
But yeah, tickets for that go on sale to season ticket members on December 2nd. Every other franchise season ticket member will be available for pre-sale on the 16th, and then general access will be on the 18th.
So wait, are you saying that we get access to the tickets first?
Yes, Utica fans have a 2-week window where they can get tickets before anyone else. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing about hosting it, is we get that.
They're going to be like, why are people
knock out
buying
this
tickets
last
in
thing.
212?
And then I know you wanted to talk about the YouTube thing.
Just one thing.
Yep. Last thing, Utica only related, season ticket member pickup party. Tuesday, December the 10th. It's 5 to 7 p.m. at Bag Square Brewing. On the announcement they made on social media, there's a link you can click on. That'll give you all the details. On that page, there's another link where it says RSVP. Click RSVP, let them knowing so they can plan. Because last year it was shoulder to shoulder in there. That place was packed.
I know I didn't end up going to that one last year, but I could definitely see it for sure.
I have to talk to Kate. I got a feeling we'll be picking up her parents' tickets if I'm not working, because she gets out at 5 and it's right there.
I'm actually trying to find the announcement that I was looking for on their website, and I didn't see it. But I'm going to, at the very minimum, go back to our chat, because that's where I can pull it from.
Yeah, no, actually, it's not on the website yet. Oh,
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's on their Facebook page, but it's not on the website. So,
Yeah, probably just waiting until tomorrow's noontime announcement to put it up.
But one thing that we definitely wanted to cover is where you're going to be watching the games this season. So they have announced that the majority of the games, because I'm sure that they're going to have some games on. What was the one last year that a couple of the Empire games were on?
CBS Golazo.
Thank you. So the majority of the games will not be on Twitch anymore. They will be back on YouTube. I definitely agree with this move for a couple of reasons. Number one is accessibility. YouTube compared to Twitch is available on. I mean, Twitch is available on most smart devices, but I think YouTube is more widely available on like smart TVs and things like that. So you can, encourage a wider audience for YouTube. YouTube is also more known compared to Twitch because, Twitch is always known for basically being like a gaming thing. So a lot of people might not actually know about it. Whereas YouTube, you can literally find just about anything on YouTube at this point. My personal thought behind why this is moving back to YouTube is the chat. Now I have no idea if this is true or not, but as I think I mentioned last year, I did do some of the modding in the Twitch games, and some of those games, some people's demons really come out in those chats. That source of anonymity is pretty strong, and can get some bad actors in the chats. And with YouTube, to my knowledge, there is more control over that, specifically taking it away completely, which people might complain, we can't, there's no chat feature, we can't talk. Can you talk on live TV when you're watching an NFL game, a baseball game, something like that? No, you're not chatting on live TV. So this is more close to a live TV situation, and it allows the league a bit more control over that sort of thing, and just basically, if it basically became a not a use it or lose it, but we used it, we abused it, and we lost it. So I mean, I can't really blame them for taking it away, but YouTube gives them that option where they can completely take away the chat. And whereas Twitch, we just had emote only is basically the most you can do on Twitch. You can't just take it away completely, which you could still have some people do some questionable stuff with emotes if they try. So I don't know. I don't hate the idea. I think, it's better for the league, and honestly, it's better for the viewing base.
Yeah. But I'd gotten used to Twitch. But it's not on Roku, which is the largest smart device in the world.
Yep.
So I have a Roku TV, and to use it, we have to either use our PlayStation or the Amazon Fire Stick I have from before I had a smart TV, which not difficult, but it's an extra step. Right. Whereas if I just go to my YouTube, I go to my YouTube, and then I'll say it since Golden Board's already announced it. Phil let it slip. Games will be the unannounced part from this is that there are going to be games on Golazo.
Not surprised there.
Starting with Sunday's game between the ambush and comets.
The ambush and the comets.
The ambush and the comets. Yeah, they're having a game on Sunday. That game's at 6:05. Yeah. Don't you know?
Oh, we live too.
Down in St. Louis. Oh no, that one's in Kansas City.
All right, now you're slipping a little.
I know. I can bounce from accent to accent. It's very easy to do there, lad. But yeah, so the first game on Friday, Comets at Ambush, will be on YouTube. Sunday's game, Ambush at Comets, will be at CBS Golazo. If you're like, hey, how do I find that? It's a free app. You go to Pluto TV.
Yep.
CBS Golazo is a 24-hour channel on there. It is nothing but soccer.
And it's free. There's no like subscription.
And it's free. There's no subscriptions.
I don't even think you need to make an account, do you? You might need to make an account.
Maybe these days, but I know you didn't used to. You know. And while you're there, you can scroll around. They got a Godzilla channel. They got a whole bunch of stuff that's just...
I know they have the Godzilla channel. I love the Godzilla channel. But, I mean, you can also find that stuff on YouTube. Just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would expect limited teams will have access to games on Golazo. Simply because of broadcasting. KC being on there, no surprise. You tell me San Diego and
Empire,
no surprise. I'd put Milwaukee and Utica in there as well. But
would you?
Yeah, Milwaukee, yes. Utica, if they go back to putting out at the 1080p that they used to be able to. Not the current 720, which still frustrates the crap out of me because you and I, from home, with far less technology available, can put out a 1080p.
Case in point. Now, granted, there's not much going on this screen, but listen, most TV programming is not even running at like 30. It's basically running at maybe 1080p, maybe 20 FPS, and I mean, it doesn't take much to accomplish that. It does and it doesn't. But
the fact that they were able to do it the first season and then not since says I gotta fix it.
Do something.
But yeah, that's where most of the other games will be. I also wouldn't be surprised if we see some soccer's games on that fan club app since they're a big sponsor. That's where that USA Mexico game was, which I don't know if you tried watching it, but
I haven't.
When I was watching it live, it buffered out and dropped a couple times on me. It's an Apple-only app at the moment, so I had to go to the website on my Android phone. And yeah, that was even worse. So instead of just running that app, I'm running Chrome to run a live video on my phone.
It doesn't end well.
No.
It's...
Right now, it's a half-baked idea that might work out in the future, but...
It also alienates potentially half of your fan base, because, Apple, Android. So, Android users have to jump through hoops. Apple users get a, streamlined experience.
YouTube's already everywhere.
Exactly.
Pluto is already everywhere. I don't know. I'll miss the live chat. Maybe we look at bringing back a Discord or something for that, or doing some watch-alongs.
Yeah.
Depending on work schedules and whatnot.
Yeah, that could be fun. Mm-hmm. It could be a good time. I mean, I do, small watch-alongs with some of my friends on my Discord, for instance. Mm-hmm. And I know we'll be watching our first couple games in a couple weeks, which it's, we haven't even talked about the fact now that there's much to talk about, but the season starts Friday.
Yeah. Which obviously we haven't done any predictions or anything because Utica's doesn't start for 2 weeks.
Right. But the actual season starts Friday, which means we have soccer to watch starting on Friday, as we mentioned, with the Comets and the Ambush, yeah.
Yeah. That Midwestern state there, don't you know?
I'm sorry. I'm not, though, but I am.
Oh, it's good. It's all... how's that dumb TikTok meme go? In the family, we all are in the club, we all fam.
I don't get on TikTok. It's brain rot.
It is brain rot, but it's satisfying to ADHD. So, dopamine scrolling.
I'll work on my farm in my farming simulator game.
I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, I'm still playing Farmville
No.
because it's 2008.
No, I will just gladly sit there and, you know, farm my fields in my video game over watching more than 10 seconds of TikTok, which is like 8 videos, you know, in TikTok time.
Hey, quick pivot since your second team is Empire. How do you feel about their coaching change?
I'm so happy for it. It's wonderful. I am so excited for this season. In fairness, last season they couldn't do much worse than they did last season. So, no, you know how I feel about him. I'm not a huge fan of Obasi, but I will give him a chance. I will give anybody just about a chance. I'm not going to just write him off as a coach. You know, I know he was also a coach in the TST tournament, Newtown
Pride
and
there.
they made it quite a ways.
And they won in his first year as a coach.
So, I mean, he has coaching experience. He has, you know, there's got to be something there. But I don't know. I will give him a chance in my mind. I'm not just going to completely write him off.
Yeah, the things we were told about him, it's, you know, he had the ability to be one of the best players in the league if he applied himself. Yeah. That's not my words. Those are the words of another person around the organization from when he was in Utica. We also know he had a locker room incident, and that's what got him shipped out of town.
Yep.
And
so he's a bit of a wild card.
We'll see. You know, that roster was built for Paul Wright as head coach. I'd still love to find out what made them make a coaching change a month before the season, after having multiple players signed and then cutting 6 of them in one day, including former LA Galaxy man Marcelo Sarvas, who they'd signed less than a month before that. Miguel Ponce and Claude Dielna, who were both guys that had played, I believe, with Marco Fabian at the professional level. So, yeah, well, love to find out the backstory for that.
It would be I'm sure it would be an interesting one.
But he looks like, as a coach, from what we've seen out of TST, give him time, and there's no telling what he could do with a roster.
Which is why I'm giving him, you know, benefit of the doubt. You know, I'm not going to just write him off just because of past. You and I personally never had a bad experience with him.
No. He was always amicable.
We can have our opinions about, you know, what's happened on and off the field that we didn't personally experience but have been told about. You know, that's just, you know, we can judge those issues on their own, and we can take it and, you know, judge him as a coach in a totally different, separate manner. So,
yeah, those who can't play coach, those who can't coach commentate.
Yeah. So,
I just figured I'd throw that in real quick because I was on the MASL website on screen and it just kind of popped by 5 times really quick, and I was like, let's just poke the bear.
I see him keep coming up on my screen, staring at me, judgingly. Stop it. But yeah, like I said, my last word, just time will tell. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm always excited to see what happens, especially when we get to play Empire.
Yeah. I think that's everything for us this time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else we want to
We
touch
covered
on?
everything and more that we wanted to.
And then some, yeah. Hopefully we'll be back next week. I got to see what my work schedule is. Unfortunately, it doesn't come out till Fridays, and then figure it out with you if we can do it. After that, we're going to try to be weekly as best as we can. I don't know, Brandon. I'm open to it if we find someone else that wants to pop in. If either one of us can't go, so we can keep a more regular schedule.
Just obviously, if I can't make it, then I'll have to work out something with getting you the OBS stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I don't have it all set up on my phone, my computer already.
Fancy setup. Hey, I had the tool. I got the tools. I got the talent.
Yeah.
And not much of it.
What, Peanut Gallery? Your hand was in the air and you were waving it like you just don't care.
Peanut Gallery can fill
That's
in.
okay. We don't care. She can
can't
wave it like
escape it
like she
anyway.
doesn't care, and I
live
really
here.
don't care.
Peanut Gallery says she'll
Oh, I
fill
know.
in if. Do you want to have an hour-long conversation with her if I got to work?
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, so that's everything from us. Like I said, keep an eye on our socials. We'll let you know when the next episode is. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications so you don't miss an episode. If you're listening on Spotify, leave that little 5-star review. Same for iTunes, Apple Music, whatever it is these days.
Leave it just for me, not for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll take a 3-star because that's as high as Michelin food goes.
Comparing yourself to Michelin food, are we?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Like a fine wine. Get better with age.
I'm like milk
More sour.
and turn to cheese.
T-Public doing their Black Friday sale all week. Grab some stuff for like 40% off. They got hats now. You got the t-shirts, the hoodies, the coffee mugs, stickers. Swag yourself out because we're going to use lingo from 2012.
And you're going to love it.
YOLO.
I don't know why that hurt, but it did.
Was it the fact that I said it or that it's from 12 years ago?
Honestly, a little of both. You know, it's one of those things of you feel like it's not that long ago and realize that it's longer.
Yeah.
Getting old sucks.
What if I told you that Pokemon
La,
Gold,
la,
Silver,
la, la.
or Gold and Silver turned 25 years old not too long ago?
La. I don't wanna. Get us out of here.
This is our 5th season, Utica's 6th season. We'll be back. We'll do like a preseason preview and kind of prediction thing over the next 2 weeks as we can. And until then, I'm Matt.
I'm Brandon.
As always, go Utica.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Keeper's Corner podcast on whatever podcast app you use. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. If you'd like to interact with us, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Twitter or X, whatever you prefer to call it. We have a TeePublic shop where you can get UCFC player swag or help support the podcast. Thank you. We appreciate it. And one last thing, go Utica City.